It'll be cheaper to buy him a private aeroplane.
Don't think he hasn't considered it.
My Holland again.
Well, you know Wilder, when a project has his label on it.
Morning. I am in the right office, I hope.
Father's anxious to pass on some views.
Views? Views, he calls them. Have you seen the papers today?
Yes. And turn down the volume, Caswell. I've been up all night.
A fiasco, that's what they call it.
Well, I've given you the reasons.
There aren't any reasons. Bly's lose big African contract. British firm outmaneuvered. With a comic turn of the industry.
Well, there's bound to be some jingo journalist poking his nose in.
When I was running this firm...
Which you're not now, and don't forget
we
it.
got contracts. Bly's had a reputation for it. What is happening now? Any tuppenny halfpenny government clerk can tell us what to do, and we do it.
No, the understanding was clear. We were asked officially to bid in Africa. That fell down, not our fault. We were then promised a big domestic job in exchange, which is now under consideration.
Ha! That isn't how it's done. Standing cap in hand while some bureaucrat dishes out favors. In my day...
I don't mind you turning my office into a bear pit, Caswell, but if you're going to make a speech, hire a hall or use the National Export Board.
No, no, not the board. That might bring us to the real reason for this interference.
Oh, God help us. Interference.
Yes. Every newspaper article on Africa quotes you as NEB chairman. You don't give a damn about Bly's reputation. You're worried because your big statesman image is getting tarnished.
Well, this domestic project better be a big one. That's all I can say.
It is.
What?
The Colmouth Bridge.
You can't know that. Was Henderson seeing Metcalfe about it now at the ministry?
I saw Granger at the airport. The job is ours, if we play our cards right.
More promises.
No, not promises. The other end of an agreed transaction.
I hope you told Granger these were my cards to play.
I doubt if he'd be interested. Satisfied? Does a £10 million bridge contract have enough glory for you?
Depends who gets the glory, doesn't it?
I think that's clear then, Mr. Henderson. Usual tendering procedures. Anything else, Gilbert?
When you're finished.
Mr. Tremaine's firm are the outside consulting engineers who designed the bridge for the ministry. Mr. Tremaine will be handling the project personally.
I've dealt with Bly's before. Sound firm. They did a harbour job for me once.
Yes, I read the report on that.
Good. Nevertheless, I shall deliver my usual short homily, as I do to all contractors. With your permission, William.
Yes, of course.
A contractor is as good as his professional supervision. No doubt about that. You'll find that I require an orderly site working to a strict program which I must approve. Adequate material storage, efficient site office operation, weekly meetings, a daily progress report in 5 copies. Organization is the key to a successful contract. And proper sanitary accommodation?
Well, I think we can guarantee that.
I hope you can, Mr. Anderson.
Henderson.
Oh, yes, of course. Well, that's all I have to say. Goodbye, William.
Goodbye, Gilbert. No.
Bye to you.
I must have heard Gilbert deliver that speech about a score of times.
As he had me wondering at one stage who was the Ministry's Director of Contracts, him or you?
He's a very able man. Almost one of us. His firm's been designing jobs for us since just after the First War. I have every confidence in him.
Yes. Yes. Anyway, look, I have a lot to do, Father, and I'm sure you're fully and legally occupied at the NEB. But listen, I want it clearly understood. If Wilder is right and we are penciled in for the Colmouth Bridge job, I can handle it without your help, or Wilder's.
If the Colmouth Bridge is on the cards, I'm not going to let you or Wilder botch it.
Now, there's been some accounts in. I paid 2 club subscriptions and your tailor.
Thank you.
And the gardener at your house wants to know if he can stay on part-time. What shall I say?
All right. For the time being, he makes a fortune out of selling those vegetables anyway since Lady Wilder went away.
Sir John, I checked at the flat and there's an estimate in for some repairs.
Oh, put him off, will you?
I'll tell Bissett you're ready. Oh, and Sir John,
Yeah?
eggs and grapefruit go in the normal refrigerator, not in the deep freeze.
Oh.
Never mind, Don. Look, whether I get this job for Strakers or you get it for Bly's, it'll still be a shambles with old Nellie Tremaine's design and him in charge.
Oh, cheer me up. Isn't this design any good?
What? Oh, I see. I'll tell you. There's enough concrete to balance Buckingham Palace on the centre span, and the abutments are based roughly on the pyramid.
Tremaine seemed pretty well in at the ministry.
So he should be. He's been doing jobs for him for about 4,000 years. The original old gentleman of Victoria Street.
Yes, he read out his tract to me.
Ah, he's fossilized. What the hell? That's a living. He's the genius who designed these museum pieces. We're just the peasants who have to build them.
Hello, what's this? Fraternizing in the opposition. Caswell, Joe Maguire, our new projects engineer.
Hello.
Well, how did it go?
Well, I collected the documents, genuflected deeply, made my excuses and left in search of strong drink.
Colworth, one of Tremaine's jobs. Oh, good chap.
Oh, don't kid me, Billy. I worked with him. Safety factors of about 90, but working drawings out of the arc. I didn't know this was one of his jobs.
Well, you can always back down, don't tender.
Oh, it's Bligh's business. Nothing to do with me now. Are you tendering?
Well, I suppose so. We'll have the date in, get a price, just be on the safe side.
As you tell me.
And then some. My last firm nearly went bankrupt on a ministry job.
Come along, Joe. Work to do.
It's not a trade secret. Use a Boer War design in this day and age and you lose money. Bye, Don. Cheer up.
Informative chap, Maguire.
And Straker'll chew his ear off for it.
Well, he's got two.
One day we'll overdo this innocent at large act of yours.
It's no act, Caswell. People love dishing out inside knowledge.
Maguire used to work for KDC. They went broke on a ministry, White Elephant.
Oh, well, maybe he was laying it on a bit.
And all of a sudden, I begin to see other possibilities in the Coalmouth Bridge job. I want these drawings for an hour.
Well, do you think you should, Caswell? I mean,
I'm going to ring Johnny Wilder.
Trying to hypnotize yourself with an empty glass won't solve anything.
Why don't you go down to the cottage for a couple of weeks?
What, now? Why? Just because of the Coalmouth Bridge?
Well, that's a feeling I have. Caswell means to run this job.
Well, he's tried before. It's blown over.
Not this one. I'd rather you were out of it. I want no leverage, no family ties, none of his emotional blackmail.
Oh, come along, Ken. I'm after all your wife. He's after all your father.
The relationships are irrelevant.
Thank you kindly.
Well, they have to be. Caswell may be my father, but he's also an interfering old man.
Ken.
That's true. This time I'm going to stop him. All my life I've been brought up with this dynastic balderdash about Bligh's being built and held in trust for me. Well, now's the time for the handover.
So glad you can manage to come, Charles. The prospect of a tete-a-tete alone with Cousin Henry gives me the vapors.
You make me sound like a social smelling salt. I just hope Cousin Henry doesn't mind.
I've impressed him with your treasury rank.
I suppose, like the rest of your family, he's right to be concerned about you.
Oh, they're not concerned. They're just smug because I've left John and they've been proved right about him, which is no excuse for expecting me to behave like something out of Evelyn Waugh. Drugs and jazz musicians in equal parts.
I'll attempt to convey respectability.
That's not difficult with Cousin Henry. Just agree with him.
This is not the most tactful place he could have chosen.
Yes, well, he wasn't to know. It's a major concession for Henry to abandon his club. Here he comes.
Hello, Pamela. How are you?
Hello, Henry. Charles Granger, this is Henry Outram, a cousin of mine, with the ministry. Well, Henry, how are all those little dispatch cases?
You're looking very thin, Pamela.
Thank you.
I didn't mean it as a compliment. Boiled eggs the whole time. How are you?
I'd say she was blooming. Looks very well.
Really? I had a note from Aunt Laura.
Yes, who wants me to go and stay with her. All theosophy and elderly dogs, and in Northumberland. No, thank you. I prefer Rome.
Beer's better in Northumberland, and she means well.
Yes, you all do.
Now's our chance to stand up and be counted.
Hello, John.
Hello, Pamela.
How was Africa?
Merci. How's Charles?
I hear you've become quite expert at losing jobs in Africa.
We were out there in the first place on the instructions of your colleagues in government, Henry. Immature fagmasters playing at pro-consuls. Wait till your department gets the bill.
He's lost none of his boyish charm.
An offensive man. I've always thought so.
Within his rights in this instance. My section may be dealing with the bill he mentioned.
No, Charles, not now. Let's laugh and chatter and be sociable. Let's try and ignore John's habit of trying to turn everywhere into an extension of his office.
Oh, hello, John. Glad you could come.
I'm sure you are.
Oh, sorry about that.
What do you want? Let's get it over with. So that we can eat in comparative peace.
Oh, a little gossip. Chat. Now that we are both at a loose end in the evenings.
If it's gossip you wanted, you'd send for Billy Straker. Tales about when mud was really mud and men were knee-deep in it. Before you went into politics.
All right, business then. I want you to request permission from the Ministry to put in another design for the Colmouth Bridge.
No, Caswell. The job's sewn up. Don't rock the boat.
But the design is 20 years out of date.
Then complain to the Fine Arts Commission. I'm in this for profit, not aesthetics.
Then you better listen. No consultant engineer gets on the Ministry list unless he was on it before the war. Then they're supervised by bureaucrats, old ideas, cautious men.
I know they're not the most exciting of jobs, but they pay the rent.
Well, they don't even do that. The job will be late, it'll be overspent. There'll be questions asked in the House, and they'll all blame the poor, stupid contractor, not the antique design. No, at this stage, Blythe can't afford more blame.
And what is more to the point, nor can you.
Don't be childish, John. Look, let's commission a real design. Let's build something they can point to and say, that's how it should be. That's an engineering job. We'll also make bigger profits.
No, Caswell. Kenneth has told you, now I'm telling you. Hands off. You may want to build monuments to the Blythe escutcheon. We just want the work.
Then we'll get it my way.
No. Definitely and absolutely no.
That's what I told him. I thought you'd agree.
Good of you.
Well, I think Caswell might have a point. The design is very old-fashioned.
None of our business. Our job's to build it.
Again, my view entirely. Caswell seems set on some testimonial to progress.
Oh, he's wasting his time. Thank you, John. I'll deal with it.
Oh, very impressive. The executive dismissal. We've been practicing, Kenneth.
And I don't need your help.
You wouldn't get it. I'd do something. We've been promised the Colmouth Bridge. Never give any government department a chance to go back on its promises.
Yes?
Would you tell Sir John that Mr. Gilbert Tremaine is here, please?
Thank you, Miss Lingard. Put the lid on your indignation, Kenneth. It's a social call. No plot. You'll have your hands full with Caswell. I shall be away for the rest of the week.
Oh, search me. I don't know where he's going. Or why.
You seem remarkably well informed.
Gossip. I've heard that Kenneth isn't too happy about the Colmouth Bridge design, but that's neither here nor there. I'm nothing to do with Blythe now. I'm here as the chairman of the National Export Board.
I still don't understand the connection. I quite fail to see that major engineering works designed and built specifically for this country affect your export board in any way, despite the board's undoubted powers.
Well, it's a simple enough proposition. You export British skills, British materials will follow. This outmoded consultant system of yours stifles the skills, that's all.
Not outmoded, Caswell, safe.
For the diehards, you know it.
Not at all.
All the old conservatives, a closed shop for them. You know, the conservatives with a small c.
There's too much innovation for its own sake.
Well, how do you know? You've never encouraged any. You know, I've seen Swedish and German engineers fall down laughing at some of our designs.
The system works. It has done for years.
Then let's look at it. To see if there's room for improvement. That's all I'm asking. Informally. For old time's sake. I don't want to set up a special NEB committee to investigate the system. Nor do you.
Now think about it.
The Coalmouth Bridge would be a good place to start.
The Ministry can't instigate anything at this stage, you realize that, despite your NEB powers and my solicited goodwill.
I'm aware of your position. Don't worry. I'll tie any cans firmly to the NEB.
I've enjoyed our chat, Sir John.
I'm glad you could spare the time. As a relatively new boy to the industry, I appreciate your advice.
Yeah, well, of course, our design may not be flashy enough to impress fifth-year students or have artistic articles written about it in the architectural glosses. But that's not my concern.
Of course not. No, mine. Seems eminently practical.
You'll be the principal in charge? I thought young Bligh...
Oh, one or otherless. It's not important. Thank you again for coming, Mr.
It's a
Tremaine.
great pleasure. Goodbye, Sir John.
Bye. Remind me to get a snuff box and some mezzo tints of the Great Brunel.
Stuffy?
Stuffed. I'm still walking about. Mr. Downstairs?
Yes, Sir John.
I'll get him to collect the luggage, will you? Now, you know where I'm going. I don't want anybody else to know.
Yes, Sir John.
It's not funny, Miss Lingard.
Oh, Sir John, I'm sure it'll do you a lot of good. They speak very highly of these places. After Africa and all that.
Whiskey and late nights. You may very well be right, Miss Lingard.
I'll bring the mail down tomorrow.
Good.
Sorry, Mr. Bligh. Not for me. Thanks all the same.
Oh. They told me that you're one of the best of our young engineers.
I am. But this bridge is a ministry job. I spent 5 years trying to crack that magic circle and wasted my time. I was too young, in too much of a hurry, and too fond of new ideas. And I wasn't on the ministry list pre-war. Hell, I was only 6 years old. Sorry, Mr. Bligh. I get plenty of work. Let the old boys get on with their close shop.
Well, you've done jobs as big as this one.
Oh, yes. Bigger. One in Sweden. Competition winner. Italy, Germany. That's no problem.
Then do this one.
I make a handsome living designing proper structures. Not these constipated memorials.
Who it?
On this? Okay. Chop this monolithic junk here and get some decent pre-stressing. Prefabricate this lot as a subcontract and get re-driven piling in here. I know a Dutch firm. Scrub the wedding cake finish. You could save over £1 million and cut construction time by 6 months. If they'd let you.
They let me.
Mr. Bligh, this bunch have been dug in there since Lloyd George was a lad. They're not going to climb out of their holes because you say so.
I can persuade a lot of people in the industries to say so as well.
Who? They're all at the top of the tree. You're going to be busy.
Well?
If this lot's on the side of the Angels, all right, I'll join.
Good.
I'm sorry about the rush, but I've just had a most disturbing call from William Metcalfe.
No trouble. I wanted to see the Foreign Office people anyway.
I blame Wilder, you know.
That's a common enough reaction.
This redesign they appear to want, like some sort of condition. I'm not at all sure that Blighs can afford to impose conditions. Oh, we'll honour our side of the Coalmouth Bridge bargain. A few chaps have made it. But not if Blighs keep tightening the screw. Oh, dear, no.
Oughtn't we to make sure that the screw is being tightened?
The minister would be away now of all times.
Oh, so is John Wilder.
Well, they won't be at the same place. The minister's one of these health farm places. Lives for a week on massage and carrot juice, comes back and gives everyone absolute tally-ho for looking sickly. Thinks we don't know where he's been.
Well, I can set up a subcommittee to look into the problem generally, but that'll waste time. So let's start on the Coalmouth Bridge now. Yeah, well, I contend it is NEB business. Never mind my industry connections. Oh, just your views, James, on paper. I've heard them often enough. What? Oh, no. You won't be alone. Oh, I have a dozen people willing to go on record in my support. At the top. Yeah. Good. All right. Look forward to that. Bye, James. Yes?
Mr. Straker to see you.
Oh, show him in.
You got religion or something?
I haven't noticed.
Then you must be off your trolley. Everybody knows the ministry needs 10 months and 44 different numbered drawings to build a brick privy. It's a fact of life. We know the system is Victorian.
So we change the system.
Not while the ministry dishes out more than half the work in this country, you won't, and that is a lot of money.
Have a drink, Billy. Sit down.
They make the rules, Caswell. Play the game their way or stay on the outside and go broke.
Well, these people don't think so. They think it's time for a change.
Yes, they're big names. But I've seen it all before. Oh, there'll be a fuss and a few meetings and then the whole thing will blow over. It's providential.
What I want from you, Billy, are facts and figures in writing. I want, generally, an investigation into design and tendering procedure and ministry jobs, and specifically at Colmouth Bridge, used as a test case.
Even if we get it, Strikers?
Whoever gets it.
Oh, there's a rumour going around that it's all buttoned up for Blythe. All you need is ink in your fountain pen.
You know better than to listen to rumours in this business. Well,
I'll think about it.
Off the fence, Billy, all or nothing, yes or no. You might as well be blacklisted in good company and in a good cause.
All right, Caswell. Hallelujah.
Fasting never hurt anyone. Look at these Indian chaps. Live to 100. You won't think about food after a while.
Yes, Minister. Of course, it's my first time here.
It won't be a last. I come here twice a year, away from it all.
I'm glad to see a familiar face.
Really? We get a lot of your commercial cronies down here, doing business in the steam bath, working out sums on bits of paper.
I suppose it relieves the monotony.
It's the whole point, monotony. Relaxation. Hope you're not going to start talking business, Wilder.
Well, not unless I have to, Minister.
Now listen, Lucas, you're a member of the Bly board and as such empowered to act. Yes, well, I've telephoned your fellow directors and we have an unorthodox but workable quorum. Well, Wilder's away, I'll deal with Kenneth. Look, the time for you to argue with me was 20 years ago. It's too late now. Now, this is what you'll do. You will write to the ministry requesting permission to submit a complete redesign of the Colmouth Bridge. On company letterhead, signed by you as director. Yes. And the request to be delivered to Metcalfe by hand within the hour. You got that? Clear? Right.
Yes, sir?
Would you ring Mr. Kenneth? Oh, never mind. Would you ring Mrs. Kenneth Bly and ask if I might come round to dinner this evening?
Cousin Henry, of course, blames John. Slap in the face, blow to precedent, etc. After Henry had pontificated for an hour, I was on John's side.
You know, it sounds more like Caswell Bly's idea to me. He's past the earthly good stage and now he wants a thumbprint on posterity.
Well, certainly he's in the act, too, peering down from his NEB cloud. Bly's can't win, of course, even though they deserve to. They might make a small crack in the solid wall of Cousin Henry's, but the ministry machine's been running too long to give up easily.
You'll help Bly's then, if they're proved right?
Dear Pamela, it isn't a question of rights and wrongs. Bureaucrat doesn't eat bureaucrat. I may write a short report for confidential circulation, but it won't be on any outsider's behalf.
Why don't you go to bed, Justine? It's best.
It's so unlike Ken. Why hasn't he telephoned? It's nearly midnight.
Oh, well. Good thing we didn't wait up dinner.
Ken, where have you been? You were nearly frantic.
Go to bed, Justine. I thought you'd be here.
No, Ken.
Metcalf telephoned me.
Now, let me say one thing. I did what I had to do because I believed it to be right. Not for glory, not for me, not even for Blythe. If I have any belief in the industry where I've spent my life, the Colmouth Bridge is the ground on which we fight. Now, we accept the system we despise because it gives us a living. Dead designs, old men, outmoded methods. Not anymore. I don't want to build cathedrals, Ken. I do want to build something I'm proud of.
Well, first Crusaders had their heads chopped off, and even then they had the stomach not to do their crusading by proxy. Oh, that's not the point. I'm not going to debate issues. Just deliver terms. You've meddled for the last time. You will rescind the letter you bullied Lucas into sending, and you will do it within 24 hours. Unless you do, I will sell my holdings and resign from Blythe. John Wilder can have the lot. Welcome to it. I will then make known the reasons for my resignation. That you're incapable of ever giving up anything, incapable of trust, incapable of holding the NEB chairmanship you're so proud of without deceit and conniving and lies. Don't talk to me about old men and dead designs. I know too much about them.
Won't listen, will you? You ever stop to think that he might be right? I've heard you talk about gutless wonders at the ministry.
And you won't see either that the Colmouth Bridge is a symptom, not the disease. The issue could just as easily have been the colour of the office carpet or a caretaker's wages.
And last night after you'd gone, Cass sat there and didn't say a word. I couldn't reach him any more than I can reach you.
I told you to go down to the cottage.
Who do you think I am? Ken. Look, Cass won't back down. He won't because he can't.
And if I back down, you'll be spending the rest of your life with a puppet. A thing in a dark suit that goes to the office and does as he's told.
Better take the call in here. We've been chasing you all over the building.
Oh, I was just going out. Henderson? Yes? Oh, hello, Justine. What? Huh? Go on. Yes, I'm afraid it's been brewing for some time. Do something, me. Justine, I'm one of nature's spectators. Yes, I suppose so. There's nobody else. Yes, I'll let you know. Where's Sir John, Miss Lingard? It's very important.
I'm sorry, Mr. Henderson. I'm afraid I've been instructed not to tell anybody.
Nevertheless, you will tell me.
Mr. Henderson, I can't.
Where is he?
Look, I have to take the mail down to him. I'll get him to phone you as soon as I get there.
Now, better I'll go with you.
Now, look, Mr.
Don't worry, Miss Lingard. If it's going to raise any blisters, he can raise them on me.
After this, a nice ice-cold shower. Turn you up no end.
I'd settle for a long, cool scotch.
Nonsense. You won't know yourself in a week. Why exactly did you come here in the first place, Wilder?
Call it a form of insurance. I'm beginning to wonder whether it was worth it.
I'm not asking for an explanation, Mr. Bligh, because I don't believe there is one. What you're asking in your request for a redesign calls into question the whole machinery of ministry procedure.
A vote of no confidence, which I resent both personally and professionally. What qualifies you as a contractor to question the design you're given?
We have to build it. We have a lot of experience in a lot of countries.
This is not a lot of countries, Mr. Bligh. This is Britain.
May I say that the request for a redesign was a policy matter which I did not support.
Oh, easy to say now, when you're faced with the consequences.
Yes, you're not God, Mr. Tremaine, just a consulting engineer, remember it.
Gilbert, I wonder if you'd mind.
With great pleasure.
You know as well as I do, I don't have to spell it out, just how good a chance Bligh's had of getting the Colmouth Bridge contract. But not now you've changed the rules. And what you had to tell you this, your request for a modern design is being considered. The rules have been in existence for a very long time.
Well, I told Miss Lingard that
she was shanghaied. Trouble. Caswell has conned Lucas into requesting a redesign for the Colmouth Bridge. Kenneth's opposing it. Says it will mean we'll lose the job altogether. Now, unless Caswell backs down, Kenneth will resign and shop Caswell to the NEB for poking his nose into commerce. Neither of them will budge an inch. Smash.
Well, well, well.
Is that all?
So what do you want me to do about it?
You can't just sit there and watch.
Why not?
Because Bligh's will fall into pieces.
Well, I'm somewhat of a specialist at picking up pieces.
Not this time, John. The pieces will be too small to find.
I doubt it.
Well, start counting, John. First, the reservoir job we lost. Then Africa, and now the Colmouth Bridge down the drain.
We'll get something for Africa.
Not now, John. We're on the wrong list at the ministry.
There's other work.
Yes. Bus shelters. Look, if Kenneth resigns and Caswell's discredited, you can reach for your hat. Bligh's will be just a name in a telephone directory, not worth a second-hand cough drop.
Quite the little calculator, aren't you, Don?
Well, I've had the odd lesson. Up to you whether you do anything or not.
Where's the car?
In the driveway. Lunch, Sir John.
Give it to my collie. Needs the nourishment.
Huh? Oh. Lunch, 1 apple.
You get half a grapefruit for supper.
What's John doing here? Oh. The clientele rather than the cuisine, huh?
Bob? Mr. Sandy Warren, please. Well, I'd disturb him if I were you. This is Sir John Wilder. Sandy, John Wilder.
I thought you might like to know that my firm has just requested a new design for the Colmouth Bridge to see that the taxpayer gets value for his £10 million. Huh? Of course the ministry doesn't like it. Yes. Very quiet indeed. The man to talk to there is Metcalf. Gilbert Tremaine did the original design for pack mules by the look of it. Henry Outram is another name you might need. And the minister is at Lakewood Hydro, no matter what his office tells you. Why? Well, I've had a rush of public spirit to the head. Yes, £10 million is a lot of money. About a fiver each from every one of your readers. Not at all, Sandy. Glad to be of help. Oh, give me a cigarette. I'll get out of this Pasha's disguise, collect my things, and I'll be with you. We've got a lot to do.
Well, I'm glad I've had lunch.
There's more risk to this than you think.
Perhaps.
Me? The children?
Yes, I've thought about that.
Yet you're still going to break up lies because that's what it means.
I know. End of a dynasty. Well, I've no Victorian urge to handle a life's work to my son. Just to let him be.
I didn't mean that. I meant the break with Cass. Means no more weekends, holidays. You know how the children feel.
Doting grandfather and business dictator. Well, I'm willing to separate the two, but Caswell isn't.
Perhaps I'm not either. I'll take him as he is.
It's not difficult for you. Strong tea, bacon fried in lard, all the old stories. It's easy to be charmed. But you don't see the bullying, the refusal to listen, the... let's use a word, humiliations. I am running Bly's or I am not. It's as simple as that.
It's wild as simplicity, the laws of the business jungle. There's a lot more to it than that. Just look at Wilder.
He's a fast and cunning machine and his wife left him. Is that what you're getting at? The same could happen to me and you'd go.
No, I don't mean that, not in so many words, but I'm frightened of it. If you can't win, you'll destroy. Where will it end?
Caswell has until 10 o'clock tomorrow morning.
Yes, James, I know how you feel. Some of the other papers have picked it up. No, I won't use your letter. Yes, a great pity. Yes, I understand perfectly. All right. Bye, James. Well...
Yes, sir?
No further calls, I tell you. They're swarming down the gangplank, one after another.
Force of habit. They've always paid lip service to the need for reform, but when they have to give evidence, they take one look at their bank balances and go dumb. Warren's done a good job.
I wish I knew who it was.
I thought you might have done it.
That's what someone intended. Oh, no, not me. You can persuade and you can lobby, but you can't shout. You can keep private, but not public. I've lost 7 people who are going to support me. The rest will pull out in due course. I'm sorry.
It was worth a try.
We could have made history with this one.
Not in this country. You can see why people like me work abroad, can't you? I don't want to turn into one of those timid old ladies who run the show here.
Tried to tell you.
I know. You're out. You want to keep quiet.
I'm trying to run a business. Doesn't say anything about being a martyr.
Yes, I hear that refrain every time the phone rings.
Look at the work the ministry dishes out. You cross them,
dead. Work with them and you're paralyzed. Not much of a choice, is it?
I warned you off too, Wilder. Did you do this?
I know you in the ultimatum business.
Did you do this?
Make up your mind, Kenneth. What do you want? To stop Caswell or get the Coalmouth Bridge?
I don't want your help with either.
What you may or may not want does not concern me. Yes, I was responsible for that.
Now you listen, Wilder.
No. You listen to me. With you and Caswell blundering around with your private hatchets, the Ministry could arrange a quiet and gentlemanly write-off of our chances for the Coalmouth Bridge. Not now. Both sides of the argument are public, and I'll see they stay that way, loud and clear, which leaves us with a wide area of compromise. Not your way, not Caswell's, but mine. I've no objection to you and Caswell organizing a family shipwreck, but I'll make damn sure I'm not on board when you do it. We're due at the Ministry in half an hour.
I'm not sure of the propriety of your presence here, Mr. Granger.
I'd be surprised if you were. I'm Treasury. You must remember that even a department as autonomous as yours gets its money from somewhere. I'm here to make sure that financial realities are not obscured by other issues.
I didn't mean to imply that you had no right to inquire.
I'm glad you didn't, Mr. Metcalfe.
We're deeply sorry to have disturbed your holiday, Minister, but in the circumstances...
Yes, you did what you could. Morning, William.
Morning, Minister.
Hello, Charles.
Minister.
Here to watch the pennies?
That's my job.
Well, where's Wilder?
He's been telephoned, Minister.
Well, where is he? We want this settled. There's a private notice question from the Shadow Minister for us in the House this afternoon.
Probably a supplementary for us.
I've instructed the press office to get onto the newspapers.
No?
Well, to tell them how much we deplore this monstrous publicity.
If they laughed in our face, we deserved it. The public domain, Henry, with its attendant spotlights. We shall need some convincing answers.
Hello, Minister. You're looking very fit. Hello, Charles. You all know Mr. Kenneth Bligh, our other managing director.
Well, the one who's not happy about the Coalmouth Bridge design.
I wouldn't say that.
What would you say?
But we have the beginnings of a valid public scandal that can benefit none of us. I think the time has come for what the current jargon calls a full and frank discussion.
I'd like to say here that the idea of a redesign is completely unacceptable. It calls into question the whole machinery of my department.
We were promised the Coalmouth Bridge for sticking our neck out in Africa.
You won't be able to prove that, Wilder.
Oh, yes, I will. And when I do, I'll make the present blow-up look like a light breeze.
Put your cudgel away. You can't force a redesign on us.
At this stage, no. This department has a large, fat face to save. Who's talking about a redesign? I don't care if we put the bridge up in marzipan, so long as we get a fair business return. With a handsome contingency clause, of course. If we're working to donkey cart principles, I want some form of insurance.
Is that your view, Mr. Bligh?
In essence, yes.
There has been some pressure from the NEB.
That can be circumvented. We can set up a joint working party which would make NEB action unnecessary.
We shall need more answers than that.
As I see it, we have a wide area for progressive compromise. Let's admit there is a case to be examined. Now, we at Bligh's can promise you rationalized management, critical path job analysis,
coordinated component production, accurate cost projections. All the usual old sugar pills.
Yeah, use enough syllables to suggest good faith in your home and dry.
Gilbert Tremaine, he's furious about this.
So is the taxpayer. Tremaine will have to settle for an OBE or some other suitable piece of ironmongery.
Wait a minute. Provided you get the contract.
I thought that was understood. It's your decision, Minister. I don't want to make a fuss about Africa.
I'll honor the agreement.
The coffee's getting cold.
Hmm? Oh, yes. I don't really like coffee.
Ken rang. He's got the Coalmouth Bridge job.
Not him. Wilder. The dog ran away with a spoon.
What will you do?
Nothing?
About Ken, you mean?
Nothing. Wait for the next time.